How are you today? Well, it is so great to be back here with you today, looking at the Schumann resonance energies. I feel like the chart itself pulled me back. And I'm really excited to talk to you about these energies in particular. This is an amazing chart. We're going to look at the black charts and then straight into the woo-woo, okay? Because there's so much going on here. I'm feeling a little loopy from this whole illness and not being able to breathe and, taking medicine and all that. So I feel a little bit lifted and, my emotions are a little edgy. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't made a video, because I want to produce quality work. And if I can't be, I just thought I needed to wait until I was a little more grounded. Thank you so much for all your well wishes, and let's get into this. This was such an amazing chart. I looked at it a day ago, basically, and I thought, wow, this is so cool, because this right here, in my view, this is representing a gateway. But you see how all the energies are here horizontally, and I listed all the hertz levels at which these horizontal lines appear. Well, let me get into the meaning of this in a second, because I'm going to go deep woo, okay? But first, I want to show you the frequencies, amplitudes, and qualities had some really wild moves on them. Like, for example, look at this. Now, what you see here, these two dips here correspond with what I just highlighted for you as being the gateway. So that's this right here, okay? To the right of the gateway, we have yellow, red, and green just getting into a super, super narrow hertz band. I actually didn't try to measure this. Let me just see here. This is how I look at this. See the height of this here? That's what I'm looking at. And you can see compared to these big swings, this is about in a 0.1 band of energy. Okay, so that is a very, very, very narrow hertz band. Okay, and you see the same thing here and here. Now here's something really amazing. This went up to 15 hertz, right, at the high end of the frequency band here. Very, very high. So what that says to me is this is like a new range of 4D energies, new access, rare air, as one of my former bosses used to say. We're in some rare air here. The yellow, in my view, represents the non-physical closest to the human body, or the astral. We have red, and you get the narrowing as well here, but we're not having anything that stands out in particular especially from last year, where we had the walls of Jericho in red, and that was really something that really stood out. Now, what is interesting is the white resonance moved quite dramatically up and down in its range at this time. And you have a pretty full range here. We've seen 8.33 at the high end recently, but it was really moving quite broadly within its entire range during this time. You see the amplitudes spike at the gateway, but they really, really spike at the outpouring. And it's interesting because it's a double spike, and they spike at the narrow vertical line. But we're up at 52. That's a pretty strong amplitude. 30 in yellow. It's a good qualities. This was really something. Okay, so what we're looking at here is 34 hours in the green. That is 22, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 hours. So what does this mean? The qualities, the truest reflection, right, of our perfect expression of our natural frequency. In my view, the higher the quality, the closer we get to that. And so 30 over time has been a typical high in green. Green, in my view, representing humanity. And so with the green spiking for this many hours, We are full of ourselves. We are nailing it relative to how we are feeling. And by the way, this is a great energy for recovery. Recovery from illness, recovery of the self into the self, getting clear on how you are feeling, initiating and forming plans for the future. And it's October 19th as I make this, and then the new moon is going to be on the 25th, so 5 days from the new moon. This September through October new moon period has been horrible for energies, but anyway, if you haven't already noticed. Okay, this was stunning. Okay, this is a really good sign in my view. Now, let me tell you the story. Here is what I feel is going on in the energies. Here is the initiating event. It's at about 17 here, surrounded by 16 to 18 with 17 in the middle. You see these lines right here, and then especially these two. Look at the gorgeous colors. What is this? This is a divine intention from the future initiating action. So let me clarify. I'm taking this image as a story. There was an initiating event in the future. The energy moves to the left on the chart. Why? Great density initiates in the future. It does not initiate in the past. This is a concept of interdimensional physics. We sent streamers of energy back with us. That's all these horizontal lines going back in time. We sent streamers. We sent ourselves. We went through the gateway. There's two actions on the chart. One that is forward in the chart. One that is behind in the chart. So when you look at this right here, okay, when you look at this gateway, do you see the face here? Do you see there's like an energy here of a figure, and then there's a partial face here. This is in the fourth dimension. This is in the past relative to our future intention. This was in the past. The energy of the gateway rides ahead of that, over that, through that. It's unaffected by that. The astral 4D is not at the level of this intention, whatever was being created, which doesn't look great from what I can see here, just in my lifted clairvoyant vision. You know, there's a figure, there's a non-physical entity in the figure's field. It's just typical parasiting on the human form, or parasiting even on astral forms. And what I saw here is that, you see, this in the astral, this energy that's the green, it's behind. Okay, now I know I say green normally represents humanity, but we're also going to use it to represent what's in the earth plane. You see there's a lot of yellow in here too. Okay, so what happens is it can't affect or influence what comes through the gateway. See this big puff here? This big puff is the best that it can do. Remember, the energy is moving to the left. We come from the future into the past with our intentions. All it can do is influence us in the unconscious and then into the alpha waking state. It can only influence us in the astral and in our dreams. It does not have the energy to influence the physical world. For that, you have to incarnate. And not everything can incarnate into a human body. You have to understand that, how powerful you are as a living human being in form that is a divine soul. Not everything is like you are. It's not that these beings don't have souls or aren't divine. All is made of the Creator. But there are different levels of being able to reach that and embody it. And the thing about the human form is that the human form can embody this energy in ways that are incredible and astounding, and that takes the physical to a whole nother level. And that is why I think that you were made for this moment, and you were dreamed for this time, and you were made for this moment. You were dreamed for this time by you, by your own soul. So here's what happened. You came through the gateway. You intended. You planted the seed of intention. You came in as a living soul. And then here's the green. You came in to physical form. So there's two. There's you, right, as the soul, and there's you as the physical body. When you came in to this time. And then from here, now, having incarnated through these mechanisms, the entire mechanism of incarnation is initiating event, travel to get here, go through the gateway, avoid the dangers of 4D and the astral, intend to plant yourself here, come in as a soul, embody. That is what you did. That is what we did. And it's a miracle. And that's why I put this cool future scene here with the light from this planet in the cosmos and this space waterfall of ever-flowing energy, because we incarnated here from the heart of God. We are the Christ light embodying in form. We are the Christ light returning. That's how big this is. That's how important you are. There are so many miracles in this world. You and your soul determine your destiny. While I was watching movies over the last few days, I watched a movie called The Adjustment Bureau. And spoiler alert, for the next 3 minutes, I'm going to actually say what happened. So in this movie, there's a young man, and he's pursuing the woman of his dreams. And there are these shadowy figures attempting to shepherd him the way that they feel that his life is supposed to go. And he meets one of them and he asks, "Are you an angel?" The man does not answer his question. And I started laughing when I saw that, and I thought, boy, this guy's never really met an angel. I mean, they were angels in my view, but they were fallen angels. They're fallen angels attempting to create reality by throwing up obstacles to the divinity that was coming through this young man. And his impulse, everything in him, told him to pursue this one woman and be with this woman. God, it was a great story. We're told, oh, you can't do this for all these reasons. They choose to be together, and they kiss, and they hold each other, and they're just physically entwined, hugging each other, and they're just like, no matter what happens, this is our moment. And they close their eyes, and when they open their eyes, no one is around them. They were surrounded by all the bad guys. They open their eyes, and all the bad guys trying to separate them and keep them apart are gone. And this one man walks up to them and says, well, the chairman decided to make a change so that you guys could be together. And they're all happy, and it's a happy ending. But here's the thing. No earthly influence, no matter what dimensional state it's from, astral, physical, can influence you as a living soul in human form against what the divine guides you. They had to change the plan that they were attempting in the movie because divinity overrided the misdirections that they were attempting. Divinity came through the young man and the young woman, and they chose to align with divinity. You see, it's the divine plan that prevails, not any earthly construct.